Yeah, we got better shit to do. We can live without a thumb or two. It's all
Oh
good.
yeah,
So, but what would you doing what you do?
yeah,
And I always like to cater to young people because for years no one's talked about getting into talk about welding. Welding's fantastic. And what you do, and obviously you're doing metal art. You're getting into some fun stuff that you guys do, and
yeah.
obviously. Um, in 2016 when my older boys graduated from Lewis Central, they did. You go to 4 year school or you were nothing. And of course, most of my sons. Well, I had twins. One son went to Iowa, got a degree in computer science and fixes computers, and is a software genius. And
Yeah,
as I
I actually watched that episode.
yeah. So there's Harley, and then I got Hayden, who is the mechanically inclined, works for me. Some days he knows more than what I do, but then there's days I have to show him who's boss. That is but he didn't go to college, and here's the thing: there's so many trades. I was talking to someone today. I went and got my hair cut, and a gal who's 18 years old, graduated from Lewis Central, and she's going to beautician school. She's going to go learn how to cut hair.
Yep.
Okay, well, technically she's going to school, but that's a skilled trade. And her
Yeah.
mom did; she could have, but her mom wanted to go to 1 year school. And there's nothing wrong. And there's nothing wrong with going to school, but if you had somebody that didn't necessarily want to go to school, and there's a lot of them out there,
Yeah.
and
Right here.
there's a lot of opportunities for young people. I would say I'm not going to say just high school, but young people go to school for 4 years and realize, well, their degree sucks. They
Well,
went to school for English.
you're still very much finding yourself. I wouldn't sit down and tell anybody I found myself in my 20s at all. It was into my early 30s when it was like, oh, okay, now
Mm-hmm.
this makes sense. But no, I was a low life deadbeat loser because I didn't go to college, and
Mm-hmm.
but now I'm the only one here sitting debt free and own a
Yeah.
company. Um,
Yeah. It's amazing how that works. And they kind of go, oh, you have how many $1,000 in college that you're still paying for?
Yeah, and I think it's okay because now that stigma's kind of dropping. Of no, you don't have to go to college. If
Mm-hmm.
that's in your heart of hearts, then go. And the doctors, the lawyers, I get getting the early start.
Yeah.
But as far as trades, man, it's if you're fortunate enough, latch on to people way smarter than you, and even the dumbest guy has something to teach you. I learned that pretty
Yeah.
early on.
No, yeah,
He's
that's
still
true.
around for a reason.
Yeah, that's
He
right. Yeah.
he might only be good at one thing. Just learn that from him.
Hey, you know what? I mean, look at Ron Jeremy. He was good at one thing.
And he fucked it up.
Yeah, he kind of did that later on in life, but
Yeah.
but no. The point being is, you find something you have a passion about and just pay attention, learn, study on your own, go work. I worked under my grandpa when I was young, and you talk about you going hang out with your grandpa and just pay attention what these old bastards are telling
Yep. Well, and they're fading so quick, and then there is that generational gap.
Oh, absolutely.
My generation, a lot of people left the trades, or they didn't want to put in the work, and
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing wrong with that. But it is sad for the new and upcomers because their kids are looking at dad and going, well, he sells mobile homes, or he sells cell phones, or he's an influencer. You
Yeah.
know, he makes really weird TikToks, but I love him. He's my dad, and that's what I'll do. So it is, and Mike Rowe is probably the best spoken person on it. Is we
Oh
have to
yeah.
get the kids interested into getting back into the trades, and it's cool, and it doesn't have to
Mm-hmm.
be one dimensional, like building a trailer. That would actually be a job for me.
Yeah.
Where yeah, I'm not going to love it. I'll have fun with it, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to love it. But that's also why I have these other avenues. So it's you can really decorate your own cake in business, especially today. The more diverse you are, it's for the
Yeah.
best. And you certainly don't need a degree. You don't need a loan. We
No.
when we started this, we don't have one bank loan, no business loan. Guess what? If I decide I'm going to take 3 months off and go hang out in Mexico, then that's what
You
I'm
can
going to
do
do.
that.
I'm not chasing the. Well, I got to pay the bank, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm also not saying yes to things I don't like, or I don't agree with,
Yeah.
or I don't want to do.
Yeah. That's huge. That's freedom.
Yeah,
That's freedom, and that's a cool place to be, and you know it allows you to be able to do what you're doing now, obviously.
sure.
So,
Yeah, and I didn't even
um,
go to college to learn that.
yeah, like I said, yeah, it just got beat into your head, you know. Said when you're doing 20 something, doing stupid, like everybody does stupid stuff when they're 20 years old.
Oh
I mean,
yeah.
I get somebody that comes and wants to apply for a job, and I'll say, okay, we do background checks. I said, okay, did you do anything stupid between 18 and 24 years old that you might as well just tell me now? I said, you know, we all done it. Some get
Oh
caught,
yeah.
some don't. You know, it's like, come on. Um, you know, it's kind of funny. You hear them stories, and you know what? Here's the thing I found is sometimes the ones that made that freaking mistake are motivated to get past that mistake,
Yeah.
and they'll become some of your best people. Yeah, they fucked up, and if you look, oh yeah, well I
Yeah,
got
valuable.
X Y Z, but
Yeah,
God, they're
valuable.
great freaking people, and they'll bust your ass, and they'll get. I mean, they'll be a great employee for you.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. It's you
yeah,
never judge a book. It's I met a lot of great people that have had a very sketchy background, but they took that opportunity and learned. And then I've met some great people that they could pass any background check, and
yeah.
they are the biggest piles of shit. And just like you really got to watch them. They're just good at not getting caught.
Yeah, that's true. It's like a friend of mine said to me one day. He says, "You know what? If you know, talked about picking up a screwdriver." He says, "Well, I can make you a screwdriver with vodka and orange juice."
But we're
and,
all
and,
out of vodka.
and he says, "That's my idea of a screwdriver." I said, "Well, yeah, we don't want you touching shit." Then. So it's like,
Well,
yeah,
it's like in the DUI crashes, the drunks never, they always survive. So maybe that's the key.
yeah.
Cutting
Well,
down on injuries. Like here, drink this.
it's because you're fucking flaccid. I mean, you don't have a react. Your reaction's slow, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you don't tense up and get hurt. So yeah, it's like, yeah, there's a chop saw cutting into my face right now, but it's like it's fine. I don't feel a thing.
it's great. It's fantastic. So it's like my father-in-law tried to chop off his hand a year and a half ago with the saw. His table saw, and like 3/4 of the fingers were freaking cut 3/4 of the way through. And he decided not to go to the doctor for 24 hours because they might have to pay the deductible. It's like, what the hell is wrong with
Oh,
you?
yeah.
Sometimes you can't think stupid.
Well, I mean, how did you even survive the 24 hours? Like, just lay there in pain? That's
I don't know. You know, he's from Minnesota. You know, there's not very smart people in Minnesota. You know.
yeah, that is
um,
true. That's nice
so
enough people.
yeah, great place to go fish. So have you brought I guess apprentices? Have you brought younger people in your shop? Is that something you've entertained?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and I think that's probably another year or two out. But I
uh,
would like to see, even if it's the high school kids or the college kids, if you're showing interest, yeah, come down. We always have a ton of scrap metal laying around and practice. The only thing I don't like is I wasn't taught. I didn't go to school to learn, and I was always terrified to go because I can do it. And some of the best welders will go, "You're a damn good welder," but you're doing it wrong because of it's. I don't believe in that. Well, your arm should be placed like this, and your wrist should be. And it's no, it's just make that bead, make sure it's good. Is it
mhm,
sound great? And however you get from that, that's on you. There is no right way to hold it. So
mhm.
I don't like that mindset, and I would like to teach it, but it's also how I was taught how to weld. Was my boss went, "You can either weld or you can't." That system does work.
Yeah.
It kind of
Well,
motivates you.
here's what I found with welding. Like I said, you know what? And I listen. I like to think I get a pretty good. Say, here's what I know: my welds get a hell of a lot better if I have a brace and I can keep this shit steady. It
Yep.
looks a hell of a lot better. I can get a better bead running around, depending on what type of weld I'm doing. And I'm not a man. I would dare tell you, but I said, you know, when I get think I can freelance shit, it's like no. I was like, oh, nope. Travis, you're done. It looks like hell. My buddy Joe Allen was in here a month ago. We were doing something, and he was treating me like I was a 6-year-old fucking welder. I says, "Jesus, Travis, when was the last time you welded?" And like, you know, so he'd give me shit about. It. He says, "You gotta slow down." It's like, thanks, Joe, appreciate that.
I'm just getting dialed in, man.
Yeah, it says just get her figured out. So, but
Yeah, that is a that it's people are like, yeah, it's like riding a bike, and it's if I'm out of the shop just on the laser for 3 months, I hop back down and weld. It even takes me a minute to go like, oh, okay, there it
yeah,
is.
it's
Like,
like okay, yeah, you know, I made a couple bad ones. You know, you're not gonna just jump right into something. It's like yeah. So, what do you do for fun? Obviously, you work hard. So, and you do a lot of your stuff for your work. Got anything you guys like to do in your off time? That's
we hang out
yeah.
there. We hang out with our nieces and nephews. Yeah, and then we got the cars, the bikes. But really, it's just we just try to hang out. But you never get to shut this stuff off. So even on Sundays, it might be I might be downstairs on the laser.
Uh
It
huh.
just kind of is what it is. But yeah,
So,
we just kind of whatever happens. We used to travel up to Estes Park quite a bit.
uh
Um,
huh.
it's hard to leave when you got a 100-pound Belgian Malinois dog that's very needy.
Yeah, oh yeah, they like to eat. They like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, I hear you.
It's
We
real
got three.
sassy. If you're gone overnight and my wife stays home and I come home, man, you're getting some shit when you get home.
You get mauled.
Yeah.
Where the hell were you? Oh God. Um. So now you talked about now. Listen, cups, signs.
Yeah. Yeah, the
You know.
choosy. Dude, these things are awesome.
Uh huh. I saw that one.
Dude.
So.
Yeah, this one will get me sued. I can't sell it, but
I did see the front side. I didn't see the back side
oh
of it.
yeah, dude,
So
it's
yeah, that's cool shit right there. So
yeah, I actually talked to the owner of that company, the Choosy company. We got pretty tight over the last year, and he's like, "Yeah, I got this plan. This is what I want to do." And I was like, "Just leave my name out of it, man. Copyright infringement is not for me. You sell whatever
yeah,
you want. I'll give a
yeah.
bit of it."
So now, do you have stuff now? Obviously, if you have software, I mean, some of the stuff I'm sure you can get software for, and to do certain things if you want to. If you want to get, I guess, more commercial,
Yep.
um, So, have you done much of that? I mean, I've seen the stuff on the website.
Yep.
You know, have you looked into doing, with some of that? Do you do some of that? I suppose it's
Uh,
gonna be something. And the reason I say something like that would probably be a pretty good seller, but I'm sure to buy the copy or access to the copyright is going to cost you some bucks, obviously.
yep. 100%. No, as far as corporate work or big orders, especially, I've always told people we don't do production work. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of the stuff's one off, or I'll make it until I'm done with it.
Uh huh.
And but I can also show you, the value in that is, if you ask for 100, L brackets welded up, I can show you the difference in the first and the 100th. So I don't
Uh,
believe in, it just gradually gets into I don't give a shit, just make it stick.
yeah.
So I like to stay in that in that area of like, okay, the metal business cards, like
Yeah.
50 is my max. 50, I'm done.
Okay. Yeah.
50, I'm done. Don't call me for a while. Don't hand them out. They're not for everybody.
Yeah, no, I get it. So, but the stuff you have is unique. So the stuff's unique. It's a one off or something. Hey, this would be cool to build just because. So,
Yep. Yeah, it's a
what?
lot of it. And what's funny in that is a lot of the things I'm like, oh, dude, these are going to sell like crazy. Not
Uh,
one time have I been right on that. My
uh,
wife, Reed, Chris, everybody else, they're like, nope, this is the one. I'm like, that's dumb. A hummingbird? Some guy at the farmer's market was like, do you got like 20 more? I'd buy all of them right now. Like, Jesus. It was just a yardstick. It was
uh,
not. It wasn't even powder coated yet because the oven went down the
yeah.
night before. I'm like, you
Uh,
got to be shitting me.
Yeah, well, my wife's into metal art. She loves it. So some of the stuff you're doing, she's like, well, we need to buy one of these. She talked about doing the cups, and she talked about doing some of their stuff too.
Yeah,
And
if
then
she ever, I can give her pointers. I can tell you exactly what machine to buy. And
yeah, but she's talked about that too because of all the artsy fartsy stuff, as
yep.
I referred to. And listen, said I listen. I don't have much of an art. I can build a piece of sheet metal if I have to. I'm about function. Art is not. this is not art, folks. I don't know what the hell.
We had one guy. It was me and Chris. We got a phone call, and the guy goes, "Yeah, I got some palm trees in my backyard on either side of my pool." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay." And he goes, "Can you make some metal leaves for it?" And I was like, "I don't know. But I'd love to come out and just see what the hell's going on."
Uh
He got them from the Westroads, I guess. Was it the
huh.
Crossroads or the Westroads? Might have been the Crossroads. And there was just laminated leaves on it. And he goes, "Can you make them?" I said, "Yeah." And then I gave him a price point. He's like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Well, just let me double check everything's right on the numbers because steel's changing daily."
Yeah.
Um, but I was like, "So you're not worried about like a big windstorm and this thing going through your house?" "Oh no, oh no." And he goes, "But you're gonna make them right?" And I was like, "I mean, we found out quickly there's a lot of different style palm tree leaves." And he goes, "You're artistic, aren't you?" And I said, "Well, Chris called me autistic about 7 times on the drive over here."
Autistic, artistic. There's an alphabet, the
pretty
details.
pretty much the same thing.
Oh my god. Um, yeah. No, that like I said, yeah, palm trees. I can see that. Metal art around that. So.
I thought there was one, and then yeah, it was a true actual stock. The trunk was real, but they had like shellacked it or something. He goes, "Oh
Oh,
yeah, as soon as I put them outside, all the paper ones, they just got fucked up." And I said,
oh yeah.
"Okay," and then yeah, we want to put these projectiles in the high winds and really test it. Like, how are you going to fasten them to the tree? And he's like, "You install them, don't you?" "No, I don't have insurance for
No,
that."
I'm fabrication only.
Yeah,
Installation is from by others. So you Mr. Homeowner,
yeah.
that's on you.
Good
So
luck. And he did. He had a killer backyard, and I love the idea, but yeah, just thankfully it didn't end up working out. That's one of those in the time you're like, "Oh man, that would have been kind of cool."
uh
And then when my buddies walk in the shop, they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Palm tree leaves, rolling them out.
huh. Yeah.
uh,
So what's the coolest thing you've built? I mean, what's the coolest thing you've done since you've been in business?
I did a Harley Davidson touring pack, the one that goes behind the back seat.
Yeah.
Well, I made a rack for that, and I don't know if that's on Facebook or not. It was for my buddy Brandon or Brendan, and that one, everything just looked like it was floating,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no time crunch on it. There was no specs on material.
Mm-hmm.
But that's one, and then the handrail in the house in Colorado was cool because there's no reason that should have worked.
Oh,
I just got
really?
I just got a phone call, and I'm trusting him with the measurements and then the steps. So we're making the pitch on that.
Oh,
And he's like, well, I think it's 23 and a half or 23.5 degrees.
oh.
It's like, well, you're paying for it whether you do it once or twice. And
Yeah, exactly.
it was him and his brother, and they're FaceTiming me, and they're like, "Does that look right? Does that look?" I'm in the shop.
Yeah,
And it's just like, we'll see, man. It's but that one came out killer. They get a lot of compliments, so I'm really proud of that one.
yeah. My nephew, he works for Demco up in Northwest Side, but he worked for Linder out of Minneapolis, and he wound up to work for them as a CAD software designer, and so Linder especially, so they're in the metal business, and they did a lot of stuff for the U.S. Bank Stadium
Oh,
up in
nice.
Minneapolis. So if you ever walk in there, and but it's all one-off stuff, But
Yep.
for a stadium, everything's fucking massive because the stadium's freaking massive.
Yeah.
So when you talk about steps or doing something like that, it's kind of like it's a one-off piece. It's like, yep, I did that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And
You
that's the
know,
fun stuff. You'll get your beer signs and stuff. We're the guy's guy. If you got a man cave or a garage, I probably have something down at the shop for you that you'll love.
uh,
But that's just you're just stamping those out. That's
yeah,
just for the shows and stuff to get your attention. I wish people would be more creative and going like, yeah, to any degree. If you give me a couple ideas, man, I'll run with it. I'll send you a drawing and lean more into that. But it's people go, oh yeah, I know bush latte. All right,
yeah,
like
yeah.
what? But what else?
Yeah, it's like there you go. So now, do you go to some shows and sell your stuff? Then you mentioned that,
Yeah,
so
this is the first year we went to the Crescent Farmers Market, so we're there all year or till September, and that was really my first outside exposure. But I had Reed, Tanner, my wife, Maggie, and it was cool to see people's reaction and like I said, the hummingbird. I
mhm.
bet there was 15 people that were talking about
Ooh.
that hummingbird, and I'm losing my fucking mind. I'm like, but look at this. I'm like, yep, don't care.
I don't care. We with a little hummingbird. It's like my wife. I got three. I got this from one of my wife's coworkers. They were actually brackets for cinder blocks for cinder after they cured. And I
Yep.
mean, these things are 1 inch solid steel. They're like 6 foot tall. But I mean, all they are is a peeling tool is all they are if you're not paying. Oh, I got three of these out in my yard, and my wife has got like hummingbird stands on every one of these damn things. You know, yeah, it's the same damn thing. It's like Jesus Christ. I mean, hell, there's probably $200 of scrap metal value just because of the weight on the damn thing. But we're using them for damn birds.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't get me started there. The guy who ended up buying it, he was like, "So do you got any other birds?" And I was like, "I don't." And he goes, if you had cardinals, man, I could go over to Omaha and I could sell 1 million of them right now." I said, "If you got the money, man, I'll make you 1 million hummer
Yeah,
or a million cardinals."
you want to do it? You want to go for it? There you go. Sign right here. I
Yeah.
take 50% up front. I take the rest when they're done.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, that's a fun thing I've learned. And I don't know if you went through it like when you were starting up. Is everybody has the best business plan for you? You know what you should do. You know
Yeah,
what you should do is invest some money and buy your own
yeah. There,
stuff and show
you,
me.
you, you want to sign the checks for me? Here you go. Write me a big enough check, and you can have you'd have all the say in what's being done. So,
Oh
um,
yeah,
have you done farmers market in Council Bluffs? Then is that something? Have
no,
you?
no, and I think we will come back around to that next year. We were
Uh huh.
signed up for it this year, and it was a very confusing process, and that's probably mostly on me. But it's also during the week, and my tent's 10 by 15. It's like a motocross tent, so it takes like four
Okay.
guys to set it up. You know, it
Okay.
collapses and stuff, but you need somebody on each corner.
Yeah.
And to ask any of our people to go, hey, Thursday, when you're done at your big boy job, right afterwards, can you leave early and come help me set this up? It's just not fair. Um,
They're like I'd rather get branded or poke my eyeballs out.
yeah, yeah. Like, oh, leave my paying job and come to where I hopefully I get paid. Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, and I don't work for beer. I could buy my own beer. It's not a problem. So,
Yeah,
but
but
this is whatever. Something for like you do. West Fairs I know is coming up in July. Just as whatever. That'd be something where if you want to get a little bit of exposure, just to put your name out there. Of
well, and
course, it'll be
that's what Crescent did for us. Surprisingly, there was a lot of hits there, and we ran into one older couple, and they're like, "Shit, we didn't even know there was anything in town." And why
mhm.
would you? 'Cause we're not in your face that much, but
Yeah.
that's by design. I don't want to be.
Hmm.
I don't want to be a nuisance on your Facebook page or anything
Hmm.
like that. But they were like, "Yeah, we've been going down to Missouri, man. It's
Oh, really?
You're
Yeah.
just in Council Bluffs," and I'm like, "Where the hell were you going to Missouri? I can think of like 10 places here."
Yeah, but you don't know.
They found a guy
Well,
they liked.
yeah. Well, I would tell you for the welding business in particular. I mean, we see it. There's times I've built stuff, like furnace brackets. We gotta get a furnace up. It's in a garage area. And like I said, I'm functional, but I'm not good. But there's times where we've needed specialty stuff done. And there's one shop in town that's been around here forever, and they're good guys. But it's
Sure.
like, listen, it's one of the deals. I want to go in and talk to somebody that actually, A, they give a shit, and B, have a little bit of fun in the process.
Yep.
So it actually tickles me pink to know that you guys, and I know right where I am, so I can say, hey, is this something you guys can build? Here's what
Oh,
I've got going on.
we'll do it.
Um,
We got the brakes. We got all the cool stuff. It's
yeah.
we've been pretty fortunate in 2.5 years. Maybe not necessarily in the beginning, but there's not much we can't build, and it's you're not going to walk in and see a $50,000 welding Lincoln welding machine. Um, but like I said, this all started out with just Lincoln 210 MP welder, which
Yeah,
I think is like $4,000.
yeah,
And then the MIG attachment or the TIG attachment was like another 1,500. I had that, an Evolution chop saw, and a 4.5 inch grinder, and it was just
yeah.
that's
You,
what I'm going
you,
to do. You can do it. It can be done.
yeah,
It's just you're going to be uncomfortable for a little bit.
yeah. But then as you start to roll, as you start to do jobs, you start to get paid, you put some money away, then you can upgrade and hey, time's money,
Yep.
faster, better what you do in the process. And that's why I said, I've always thought if I was going to get out of doing HVAC, get in, I I I hate to say it, I'd have to spend some time to really get involved, but for someone to do it, I mean, there's just so many things you can do. And listen, you don't want to do 1,000 or whatever. I mean,
Yep.
how many how many fire pits can you build? I mean,
Yep.
that sounds cool. But after you build about 20 of them and say, okay, I'm tired of this.
Yep.
I want to do something, let's go, let's go build a dump truck box, let's go,
Yeah.
let's go do something that's functional that, hey, I maybe had to use my brain a little bit, but
Yeah. And that was my mentality, and everybody since the beginning has told me that's a horrible business plan. They got on me about no bank loans. They got on me about I'm not going to make 25 of something or 1,000. And it's just because I'm fortunate enough to be in that position. Um,
mm,
but yeah, everybody along the way has just been, yep, that's a horrible business decision. It's like,
mm,
all right, cool. Look where I'm
yeah.
at.
Well, I mentioned another gentleman. We use him, and this guy Chuck, he's a great guy. It talked about he's got a truck, and where we talked about it. We've done work for last summer. We did a job down in Hamburg. Their city water. We had to put an aerator in the system. Well, we had to weld, was it 10 inch or 12 inch pipe? It had to be
Yep.
watertight, that kind of stuff. So where you come in, they had to figure it out. We had a 40 foot from the top of the building down, and then we had to connect into the city water stuff, and so that kind of stuff. There's stuff that you can do. Let's say if you ever decide to go mobile, you
Yep.
know, and that's unique. It's one off, but obviously if you start to travel. Well, there's costs. You got to buy. You have to have a welder in a truck. You have to have all the stuff to
Yeah.
do
The
it.
generator, all the good stuff.
But at the same time, there's not a lot of guys that do it, and so if you don't want, and maybe you have somebody that likes to do that, and that'll have to be a business decision for you. But that'd be the one thing that I'd say that's not your production stuff. It's kind of a one of a kind. Oh, we got to build a 15-foot grease duct. It offsets 45, and we got to come in through, and we got to do a light test. A lot of our grease duct, you have to do a light test on it,
Yep.
so because you're running grease duct and stuff. It's like, well, it's crazy. Well, you don't want to burn a freaking place down, because you didn't have
Oh,
a good weld on it. And there's some, you're using the gray. I think as much as anything, you get, it may not be the prettiest thing always, but you get to use that gray shit in your head and kind of go, okay, how are we going to make this work? You know what I'm saying?
oh
So,
yeah.
you
Yeah, and
know,
I think the right person's out there for the job, and I think I know who it is. And yeah, I think next year, yeah, we lean into the truck, um, but right
but
now, yeah,
yeah,
I know I personally wouldn't go out. I wouldn't be the guy out in the field. There's just no way I could pull it off.
You know what? It's not for everybody, but it's one of them things to where, like, say, you talk about being custom, doing one off. You don't want to do
Yep.
whatever. There's a lot of just, hey, you know what? Used to be back in the day, and I'm not knocking farmers. I grew up in a family farm in Northwest Iowa, but a lot of these old guys from World War II, man, they could weld, they could do all their shit together.
Yeah.
A lot of these younger guys now, I hate to say it, you give them a damn welder, like, what am I supposed to do with this? You know what I'm saying? It's like, what the hell? And there's an art, there's an art to it, and
Sure.
and that's where someone like you can come in and say, okay, hey, you know what? You're out disking, combining, doing whatever you got to do, but you need this fabrication. Let's say you need to have an auger swing out that holds it together. Hey, I'm your guy.
Yep.
Tell me what you need. Get dimensions, build it. Here's what you got to do to put it up on here, and then there you go. You
Yep.
know,
100%. Yeah, it's
you
just
know.
finding the right person to do it, and that actually was kind of my first thoughts of starting a business, like, yeah, dude, I'll just buy a truck. I'll build my own mobile welding rig. I'll just hit up the farmers and build that relationship. It just staged out differently, and I ended up
Yeah.
at the shop, and now it's
Well,
like
but
I'm
I'm
able to
saying
just stop at the house.
the farmers can bring them to you. That's what I'm saying. Hey,
Oh
I
yeah,
got
yeah,
this, and you know what I'm saying. So
yep.
bring it in and say, hey, listen, I'll build this, but this is what you need to do to put it together. But I'm not going to come out and do it for you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and
You
then we got
know,
we got Chris, who's a maniac, and he has all these big diesel trucks and trailers, and the mini excavator and skid loaders, and so he's a beast on his own. So yeah, we could definitely get it. I just have to find time to pin him down.
yeah.
With,
Well, yeah.
7 kids and 3 jobs.
Guy, you
He,
sound like my salesman Tyler. Six kids and a wife, and
yeah,
his
he.
wife's a college cheerleader instructor. So she's got
Oh
like
wow.
23 girls.
Oh Jesus. Yeah, yeah. Chris, I don't know how Chris does it because he has a big time corporate job,
Uh
um,
huh.
and then he owns his own contracting company, and then now
Uh
he owns a powder coating company and has 7 kids. But really, he's got way more than that because you have all their friends that are constantly around. 'Cause he's just a fun. Him and his wife are amazing to be around.
huh.
Um, but yeah, it's so I'm always feeling bad if I have to ask him for anything. Like, hey, you painting this weekend?
Yeah. You're gonna go to the Ozarks.
Yeah,
Well, you know.
graduation season's a real motherfucker to get anything done around this time.
They need this done like 2 weeks ago. I'm gonna need a favor. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
yeah. Here. So, all right. So, if somebody needs to get a hold of you or get a hold of your shop, I mean, you're online, Foxco,
FoxCoFab.com.
com.
Yep.
What's the best way? Come to stop down shop, talk to you. What's the
Yeah,
best
never
way for
never
people?
stop down at the shop. We do appointment only, and that's by design. Just because I already have too many people stopping down. Um, so call. Don't
Call.
call, email, do whatever you got to do, but don't just stop down. I mean,
So,
if it's pressing, yeah, then or you're in the area, it's cool. It's just I'm trying to push people away from just thinking that it's hard to go. All right, well, I just spent 2 hours trying to explain, metalworking to you, and you still don't have an idea, and then you're going to go shop around and look for it to be cheaper because now that 2 hours I wasted on you, I have to make up. I still have
yeah,
to stay now an additional 2 hours, and it's just you'll get a lot more friendly me if you just book an appointment.
yeah. Or send you an email and say, hey, I've got this.
Yep.
Is this something you could do? What's your time frame of getting it done? And whether it's steel or stainless steel or, whatever it is. And
100%.
say,
Yeah.
makes
Well,
it
it's
easier.
it, too to have your questions mapped out of have a really good idea of what you want, and we'll fine tune it from there. But the 15 emails, I already told uh, Mr. Reed. I said after 6, shut it down. We're not because people. Well, and then I don't know. What do you think? Well, I don't know. And they're too flaky, or you're not that interested. If it
Well,
takes more than 6 messages, you ain't that interested.
yeah. A lot of, and I'm just saying for me, a lot of let's say, okay, listen, I'm 6 weeks on a roof curb because XYZ company can't build. Here's a drawing for the
Yep.
curb.
Oh, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
Can you? Here's the dimensions. Can you build it? Can you insulate it? I mean,
Yep.
those are, you, you know, it, if that makes sense,
Yeah, hundred
and that's gonna be
percent.
a
But
lot easier for you to say, "Hey, I could do this," or "I could do this," but the insulated part or whatever it
yeah,
is,
well, and I get it. It's a lot easier for trade to trade because we speak the same language. So I do have sympathy for the people that aren't in the trades and they're not very familiar with it and they got questions. But it's like there's so much on YouTube. You can at least give me like 5 bullet points and we'll hit
Uh-huh.
you back with something. But there's some that just him haw around and they burn up a lot of our marketing guys' time. And I just had to tell them, like it's 5 or 6. If it's clearly going nowhere, just
Yeah,
shut it down.
yeah.
But he's not
Well,
from the trades either. We pick up on that really relatively quickly, whereas
yeah,
he's just like, "Well, I want you to get the business, like,
yeah.
brother. I don't need it that bad."
Well, for me, from my perspective, yeah, we both are dealing with the end user, but like for me, let's say I got a customer that needs something fabricated, let's say I you know, famously, let's say, I got to build a furnace stand or I need something, we got this freaking god awful huge heat pump. We got to mount this thing and it's fucking 400 pounds and we don't want to hang it off the side of the house. And we got to
Yep.
come up with something that say, here's what I got, here's what it is. What can you do? Because at the end of the day, if your price is what it is, I'm going to probably put 20% on it, and here it is. Take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it might not be the greatest thing you ever done. But like, well, Jesus Christ, it's 4 pieces of angle iron in a freaking box.
No, those do happen. It's not always about the artsy fartsy stuff, or not always a passion project. We do keep a couple corporate companies. But I always said, man, we'll never have more than 5. And right now we got 2, but it's just, they are nice because it's very cut and dry. It's just the getting paid part that sometimes can be a hassle, and we weed those out pretty quick.
Yeah. Do you guys do any CNC work? Do you have a CNC? Do you have a lathe? Do you CNC? Do you do any?
No, but Mass Machine is right across the street, and Colby runs that place. That guy, geez. He's making race car parts and shit. Like, I would love to just go hang out with him for a day, but I don't want to be the person I hate. I send that guy more business. And he never sends it back. Yeah, son of a bitch.
Better talk to him about that. It's like, send me a bottle of whiskey or something.
Yeah, come on, man. Yeah, he when we were doing some work on a C5 Corvette, and I can't remember what I had to have him do something, but I took him a case of beer. And he was just like, oh, thanks. And he cracked one. And I was like, dude, it's from the Fast Mart on 9th Ave in Maine. So they're like, cooler never works. So it was like a hot beer. And I think he was just being polite. And I was like, oh. All right, man. Cool.
I know the manager of the Fast Mart over there. You're right. The cooler don't work about half the time.
Oh, man. Yeah. It's, it's fine if you're going home and you got time to spare. But, man, I'm stopping in to grab something for the ride home.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't work for beer, but like I said, if you want to drop off a case of Busch Light and every once in a while a thing of cookie dough, we'll find a place for it. Of course, I have this physique that
Same here, man.
Oh God. So, all right. So, best way to get a hold of you, Rick, is that email, make an appointment. Obviously, just don't stop down to shop.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're in the area, I don't want people to make a habit of it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
We're throwing sparks for welding. I'm sure they're probably not used to flash burn.
Yeah, well, that's all right. Yeah, so both of your icy green in the middle, it's all good. So, but like I said, nice part, local business, Counts Plus business is, didn't go to school for this, learned through. Packing houses, different places you worked, which is fantastic. So you use hands-on experience, and you're just kind of an example of proof positive when we talk about circle of trades that you got to go to school. You just got to want to find what the hell you want to do.
Yep. Yeah. Have fun with it. As long as you're having fun with it, man, you'll come out with a really good product. But you really got to be invested in it and go, no, I was hungry to learn. Mostly because people didn't want to teach me.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, we got something here.
And if you're a big enough pain in the ass, they'll teach you one way or the other, right? So, but no, Rick, I tell you, I appreciate your time, and like I said, I've got stuff I need done from time to time, and like I said, I kind of believe in there's only 24 hours a day. I respect how someone saying I'm busy. Hey, call, make an appointment or whatever. So, but I think there'll be an opportunity for us to do some business. And like I said, give him a call, check out his website. He's got some cool stuff. I might have to make him a Hawkeye deal, have him make me a Hawkeye deal just because I like my Hawkeye metal art.
I'll make 2. I'll send one to you and one to my parents who are massive Husker fans.
There you go. There you go.
Like Travis says, fuck you.
Are you number
Travis?
Yeah. Are you number one with this finger or this finger? It's all about perspective, right? So.
Oh, dude, my mom would kill me. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah, there you go. It's good for you. Builds character, Mom. So, so Rick, appreciate your time.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me, man. I appreciate it.
You bet. So, well, again, FoxCoFab.com here in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Give their website a look, give them a shout, and we'll talk soon. Thanks, Rick.
All right. Thanks so much, man.
Bye.